Here's a question. Why do we keep turning to gadgets, apps, and quick fixes to solve our sleep problems, when the real secret lies in the same basics our grandmothers knew? Things so simple we tend to overlook them. We put rings on our fingers to track our 8 hours, but half the time those gadgets don't know if we are truly asleep or just lying there scrolling. We binge on advice, from breathwork to melatonin, hoping for a magic bullet. But what if we're just hacking our biology the wrong way? What if we're using technology as a crutch, avoiding the real work of learning how to rest, live, and breathe with intention? This episode pulls back the curtain on the sleep tech industry's glossy promises and dives into why, despite all the data and devices, quality sleep remains one of the biggest health crises no one talks about. And we'll get into the science, the glymphatic system, brain cleansing, the deep regenerative magic of sleep that no app can fake. If you're tired of feeling tired and ready to reclaim your rest on your own terms, keep listening. Because this story is less about gadgets and more about power. Power you might not even realize you've been giving away. Let's talk history, and no, not the ancient kind, but the smart watch on your wrist kind. Sleep trackers didn't appear overnight. The first wave rolled in alongside the fitness craze, a desire to quantify every step, heartbeat, and yes, every moment of restless sleep. Early devices were clunky, imprecise, but promising. Fast forward a few years and the market exploded. You've got hundreds of brands now, from tech giants like Apple and Garmin to niche players like Aura, a full-blown industry chasing the holy grail of perfect sleep measurement. Last year alone, the global sleep tech market topped an eye-watering $30 billion. This market isn't just about wristbands and apps. It's sensors woven into sheets, smart lights that optimize your bedroom, even AI-powered sleep coaches recommending lullabies. The promise? Total control over a process that's been a mystery for humans since forever. But here's the catch. With all this data and fancy tech, so many still wake up feeling like they barely slept at all. The devices are good at gathering info, but less reliable when it comes to deciphering what it actually means for your health. In this tidal wave of innovation and marketing, it's easy to forget that behind every chart and heartbeat icon is a human being, trying to reclaim rest in a culture that hardly makes space for it. Coming up, we'll unpack what the science actually says about these devices and whether they help us or just add another layer to the sleep struggle. Well, let's get practical for a minute. When you strap a sleep tracker to your wrist or your finger, what is it actually measuring? Most of these devices are looking at movement and heart rate, then using algorithms to guess when you were awake, lightly asleep, or in deeper stages of sleep. Some do this reasonably well for total sleep time and rough patterns. Others struggle so much with sleep stages that independent testing has shown they can be about as accurate as a coin flip for things like REM sleep or deep sleep. This doesn't make them useless. It just means they are estimates, not a window into your soul. A ring on your finger does not know if you are lying awake, replaying an argument, drifting in and out of shallow sleep, or finally dropping into the kind of deep sleep your brain has been begging for. Where it gets tricky is what happens next. A lot of people wake up, look at the score, and decide how to feel about their night. The device becomes the authority. If the number is low, the day is ruined before it starts. If the number is high, they push harder than their body is ready for. None of that is because people are foolish. It's because humans like clear answers. A single score feels easier than sitting with the messier questions. How am I actually feeling? What did yesterday look like? What patterns keep showing up in my life? The risk is subtle. Instead of using technology as one tool in your toolbox, it quietly becomes the toolbox. Instead of your body being the primary source of information, it gets downgraded to a noisy, unreliable witness. In a moment, we'll talk about some of the biology your tracker cannot see, like the glymphatic system quietly taking out the brain's trash while you sleep. But before that, it's worth pausing on something simple. You are not broken because a device gave you a bad score. You are not fixed because it gave you a good one. The real opportunity here is to put those numbers back in their place as rough clues you can compare against your own experience, not a verdict on your health. That shift is where ownership starts, not in throwing the tech away, but in refusing to hand it the final say over your life. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Your sleep tracker can guess at movement and heart rate patterns, but there's an entire world of biology happening inside your skull that no wristband or app can touch. Picture this. Every night when you finally drop into deep, slow wave sleep, something extraordinary switches on. It's called the glymphatic system, a network of channels in your brain that acts like a janitor crew, flushing out metabolic waste, misfolded proteins, and toxins that build up while you're awake. This isn't some minor housekeeping. Researchers discovered it just over a decade ago using glowing dyes in mouse brains to watch cerebrospinal fluid literally wash through the brain tissue, but only during deep sleep. In humans, the same process clears beta amyloid, the stuff linked to Alzheimer's, and tau proteins linked to neurodegeneration. Disrupt that flushing and the junk piles up. Why does it only work in deep sleep, though? It's because during those slow brain waves, the brain cells actually shrink by up to 60%, creating space for the fluid highways to open up. Your heart rate drops, breathing slows, the whole system sinks into this rhythmic pump. It's why fragmented sleep or constant awakenings don't just leave you groggy, they rob your brain of its nightly detox. And here's the part trackers miss entirely. This glymphatic flow depends on more than just hours logged. It thrives on consistency, on falling into those deep stages reliably, night after night. One bad score from Garmin or Aura, not a crisis. But weeks of shallow, interrupted sleep, that's when the trash starts piling up in ways no readiness score can really measure. Sleep isn't just recharging your battery, it's your brain's one shot at deep cleaning. No supplement, no blue light glasses, no algorithm can replicate that. Which brings us to the real question. If the deepest value of sleep happens in places technology can't reach, why do we let those same gadgets dictate how we feel about our nights? Stay with me, because once you see what's actually happening in there, the basics, rhythm, darkness, calm, stop looking like old advice. They start looking like non-negotiables.